off and the goal sands is raised. Everyone here knows what that could mean to this football.
Hello, good afternoon, Bournemouth fans. It was AFC Bournemouth 0, Queen's Park Rangers 0 at the Vitality Stadium today. We certainly looked like a team that was leggy and fresh off an international break. Wasn't a great performance. I thought there was poor quality all over the pitch and a lack of an attacking edge that we have seen in abundancy recently. But at the moment, we are here with 11 points. We wanted the 3 today, but we finished with 1, and we'd love to get your views on. If you want to take part today, at the bottom of the screen, you can see what you need to do. Just go to afcbpodcast.com/take part. As soon as you're there, you'll be put in a waiting room, and then we'll bring you in as quickly as we can. But today, we've got someone in the studio here with me right now, Mr. Tom Jordan. Tom, how are you, mate?
Yeah, not bad, mate. Bit disappointed after that, but yeah, I'm all right. At least we didn't lose it.
So, what did you think of the performance?
Like you said there, really, it was leggy. It looked like a team off the back of an international break. That's no excuse. Just never felt like we got going. I'd probably say second half, we couldn't be any worse, and we weren't. But I never felt like, in the second half, I just felt like it was going to be 0-0 for a long time. There were a few decent performances. Begovic has got to have a shout. I mean, he kept us in the game in the first half, and I thought Rico was solid throughout. I thought he made some really good last-ditch blocks. But attacking-wise, like you say, there was nothing. It was really, it was a real shame today.
But there were a few standout players for you. I mean, there were a couple of good saves from Asmir Begovic. Rico, you thought had a good game at the back.
Yeah, Diego was brilliant, I thought. Every time that their kind of attack broke down or we got a last-minute block or clearance in, it seemed to always be Diego. So credit to him. And I think if, it sounds like Kelly's back in training, but he's got a competition to try and get in that left centre-back slot because I don't think Diego deserves to be dropped, that's for sure. Obviously, we know he can play in other positions as well. But I've been impressed with him since he's coming to the side. Thought the midfield 3 weren't as good today. Gosling seems to have a really good game and then a poor game. Didn't really notice him out there today. Lerma certainly looked like someone who'd been away travelling for a bit and didn't look himself, which is why he obviously came off. We looked better when Arnie and Junior come on for a little bit. That gave us a bit more of an attacking impetus, but in general, it was just a poor game. And I think, to be fair, I've come out of that thinking we weren't very good and we haven't lost, and I'll just take it and move on. And I'm glad we've only got a few days till we can rectify it. With
7 games in 22 days, there is going to be a lot of rotation. And I think some of the performances today maybe make Jason Tindall's decisions very easy for our next match on Wednesday night.
Yeah, they certainly make them easier for him. I think he probably would have wanted to do a bit of rotation, like you say, with all the games. But it's always difficult when your team's winning and playing well because you think you almost take them a little bit too far. Because you think, I don't want to take this player out. But there's a few players today that you think, could easily be replaced. And, we don't know about the fitness of the likes of Brooks and Billen and stuff like that. But they'll be knocking on the door. Junior and Arnie will certainly be wanting to come in. Like I say, Kelly's coming back in. We've got Raquelme, we've got Carter-Vickers. So we've certainly got players to be able to come in. But yeah, it was really disappointing today that they didn't, we didn't kick on from the last few performances. Against Coventry, we were so excited to watch. And credit to QPR, definitely, because I think they made it difficult for us. They pressed high and made it hard for us, but we just never got control in the game, and that was disappointing. But I think everything's been going pretty well for us so far, and it will be a good test for JT when things aren't going as well. We've actually had a poor performance today. Let's see how he rectifies that and how we bounce back, really. So I'm looking forward to Wednesday anyway to hopefully get back to winning ways.
Brilliant. Tom Jordan, thank you very much, mate. Really appreciate it. That was Tom Jordan there with his thoughts, and we'd love to get yours on as well. So remember, just grab a pair of headphones and go to afcbpodcast.com/take part. First person we're going to bring in today is Billy Day. Billy, how are you?
I'm very good. Considering we just said there, Tom thought it was a poor performance. I perfectly agree, but I'm happy with that. I'm happy with a draw because QPR, they're a solid team, and you expect them to give them a good battle today, and they did. They destroyed us a bit. I thought they were very strong at the back. I thought they were attacking wise, they were dangerous, but obviously our defence, as normal, resumed solid.
Yeah, I agree. Now, I'm just going to read through some of these comments. At least we didn't lose, says Daniel. John says, boring game, didn't capitalise on anything. Again, he goes on to say, still unbeaten, I guess. Just frustrating not to get the 3 points. There Yeah, Heather said frustrating that the audio stream didn't work as well. Yeah, for the first 20 minutes, there were a few issues, but they did manage to sort it out. Smith had a stinker, John went on to say. Insomnia cured, Al. Thanks, AFCB. Weymouth to 1 today, which was good, says Alex.
Fantastic.
Yeah, it's good to see them finally get off the mark in the National League as well. And then Dave Yates says 3 centre-backs and 3 centre-mids not needed with our attacking talent. Interesting thoughts there. And remember, you can come on the show on video or just get your thoughts in and we'll try to put the best of them on the screen. And like you say, Billy, I think, poor quality, leggy, but Queen's Park Rangers, they looked well drilled and they seemed to deploy a high press that meant that we looked awful during that first half, especially.
Yeah, their attacking side just over-dominated our attacking side. I thought attacking-wise, we were poor today. I think that was the only position where, as soon as Banjuma came on, he built a spark in, and it was just so unfortunate that we couldn't get it right in the end. But, attacking-wise for QPR, they knew that, obviously, Bournemouth away is a tough place for them to come to. But I thought that their performance-wise, they'll take the point and they'll move on to their next game. But we've got to move on. Like I said, we're undefeated. So we've got to move on to Cardiff. Cardiff's going to be very difficult, I feel, with their... they've just brought in Harry Wilson. Yeah. And then they brought someone else. I can't remember who exactly it was.
So as long as we don't concede free kicks from 25 yards...
As long as we don't concede free kicks, we should be okay.
We should be all right with Harry Wilson because other teams dealt with him all right last season. So I'm sure the rest of the... we certainly can on Wednesday. And if you're a Bournemouth fan and you're watching this, you may not know this because it's not really been publicised. But if you've got Sky Sports, AFCB v Cardiff City at Cardiff City Stadium, it is on Sky Sports on the red button. But it doesn't count as a televised game, so it's also on AFCB TV. If you view your Sky Sports through Now TV, that's where it gets complicated because if you use the app on your phone, then that doesn't list the red button games. But if you view Now TV through an LG or Samsung TV, a PS4 or an Xbox, then you can view it. I'll do another video to explain it. Hopefully AFCB themselves will, but it's a bit of a gamble whether that will happen or not. We're going to bring in Kirk Tovey early doors this week as well. Kirk, I'm not amazingly impressed by that. Were you?
No, it's sort of it's what I expected when I saw the formation and the team, to be honest with you. It's quite easy to pick a team off the back of Coventry because the team played well, but I don't think we really picked the team and the players to suit the opposition we had in front of us today. And a 3-5-2 and 3 centre midfielders for me was not the right decision from the start.
And you mentioned that to me. What would you have done if you were Jason Tindall? Because you mentioned early doors that it was... In fact, I think if you go to the preview video on our YouTube channel, you can see a comment from Kirk saying exactly that. Why do you say that?
It's because we're playing at home and we're playing a different opposition. See, against Coventry, I think we could always dominate the ball. And I think QPR are different to Coventry. So it's almost like I felt like we had to miss out the midfield. So where we've played those games that we've had previews before, Sam, against, say, West Ham and maybe the Blackburn game, we just need to get the ball quicker forward and then have our attacking flair on the pitch. So you're talking about Stanislas, Danjuma, Solanke, and just letting them have that freedom up there, moving about, not staying stagnant. And I think we'll destroy teams, as we've said, 2-3, 3-1s, etc. And that's how I felt the game should have been played from the start. So to go in 0-0 with one shot off target did not surprise me because it just wasn't the right game. You know, I love Goslin. He had a brilliant game against Coventry, but there's going to be games that are going to be perfect for Goslin and for 3 centre midfielders. And there's games that are not going to be perfect for those scenarios. And I felt today, before the whistle even started, that was the case. And it seemed to develop like that.
Sorry, Sam, could I just interrupt? I just have to say I've got to dash off, but thank you for having me on as always. I'll be on Wednesday night.
No worries, Billy. Yeah, looking forward to it, mate. Take care, buddy. Nice to see you, mate. And we're going to bring in Morgan at this stage as well. Morgan, I think the word he used was hideous after the performance against Coventry, which was a win. I dread to hear what he's got to say this week. And stand by, fans' favourite Vin is also waiting in the wings as well. So Morgan Scott is here. Hello, Morgan. How are you today? You're gonna turn around and tell me that you thought it was a brilliant performance today or something stupid, aren't you?
Average.
Average. All right. Well,
it's the fairest way to describe that last 90 minutes or so.
So tell me about it. What do you think went wrong? What do you think went right?
So I'll start 4 minutes in. A fantastic save by Asmir Begovic. And then he put it, could have been 2 or 3, as Tom mentioned early on, by half time. So I think Asmir Begovic was in contention for man of the match. And also Diego Rico had an absolute blinder today. Last tackle, they could have gone away with it. I actually didn't think that was going to go in, but if you watch it back, but yeah. You also managed to get a little mention on the audio from the commentator as well, Sam, on the little video. So everyone's the winner today.
I swear that's where they get their news these days. But
who knows?
Nice to get
maybe you'll get a job for taking Chris Temple's job, maybe as a commentator. Who knows in the not so distant future? But in the attacking third, there was kind of nothing. You know, Solanke had a few efforts that didn't really trouble the goalkeeper, went into the side net end. I thought Sam Savage, 25 seconds into the game, put their keeper under a lot of pressure, and that could have gone in. So but they were the only opportunities. And then the lads mentioned the international break. Jefferson Lerma looked a bit fatigued. You know, he's just had a really, very long week. So with all the travel, I'm not surprised. But an average performance on my sum up of the QPR game.
Yeah, I think that's fair enough. I think it's a hard one to detangle, and I almost sort of need to watch it again to see where things went wrong. How much credit, Kirk, do you think we should be giving to Queen's Park Rangers after that performance?
Yeah, and they're quite, you know, from what Jason Tindall said at the start, you know, they're always going to be quite attacking. They're going to go for it. They had a few good wide players that had a bit of pace about them. But I felt like we were poor in possession. Like you said, we looked tired. So those things were always going to go against you. And then we were just trying to play with the ball too much in our half in the first half. And then obviously we end up going backwards a lot. And then that's when I think we get frustrated with Smith, because we prefer him. He's going to get frustrated on the left when we're not attacking as much as defending. So Smith had an off day today, but I think that's because of how we set up and how we played our football in the first half. But I thought once Danjuma came on, instantly we went 20 yards higher up the pitch. Even Goslin went higher up the pitch to Solanke, and we started to look a little bit more proactive. But, you know, I mean, Danjuma got himself offside a few times, which was a bit annoying. But it definitely changed in that period. And then sort of the last 10 minutes was just, we looked like we might concede one. We were, you know, there was lots of space, but that's what happens when you change your formation and play a more expansive game like we did. I just wish we had started like that and not actually changed to that formation in the second half.
Getting a few comments that we're putting on screen at the moment. And Simon, AFCB dad, I haven't played golf in years. That's his nickname these days. It is what it is. We've had every type of performance. QPR set up well. We just need some zip in transitions as well. Yeah, good point. Now, remember, if you want to appear, there's room for people at the moment, because there's only 4 people that are in the broadcast room, which is very unusual. So if you want to get involved, now's a good time, and I can bring you straight on. One person that I'm going to bring straight on is young Cherries fan Vin. Always outspoken. It's audio only with Vin, by the way. So let's get his thoughts. Vin, how are you?
Good. How about yourselves?
Not too bad. Okay. I haven't really computed that result, to be honest, because I must admit I was expecting a win, and an easy win, and it was 0-0, and not the best. But what was your thoughts?
I expected a win as well, if I'm totally honest. I thought this would be not trying to be offensive to QPR, but a walk in the park. You know, simple. You know, like, but QPR definitely made it hard for us, and we were like, and we did. I saw that we had 0 shots on target, which is just you can't do that if you're trying to get promoted. You need to have shots on target to at least press their goalkeeper. We never did.
Yeah, that's right. And, you know, where do you think the battle was lost? Was it, you know, I wouldn't say it was lack of being clinical up front, because we didn't manufacture that many chances, but in midfield, it just didn't seem to work well for us. And that could lend itself to what Kirk said about the formation being bad and incorrect.
Yeah, I think we played a little bit too defensive today. I think we should have really pushed on and really gone for this win, because I think if we had won this game, we would have been top of the table, right? If I'm sure if we would have won this, yeah. So that would have been nice to see. But if we are, you know, I think we should have invested in a striker, because Solanke and Sturridge. If we got 2 strikers up there and we're still not creating, any chances really to test their keeper. So I think we should have invested in a striker. But at least we got Vickers now, which might help us. But I don't see him coming ahead of Smith. If I'm totally honest, I think that might be a little bit of a tough decision for JT. But it was a really bad game today.
Do you think that QPR were fairly wasteful with their chances? Because I think they were. I mean, obviously they had a chance that Begovic saved with his foot, and then I think on about 29 minutes, there's poor technique from the QPR striker as there was a cross from the left-hand side low, and he tried to flick it almost like Dominic Solanke did in our match against Middlesbrough, but he got his feet in a tangle and he got it all wrong. But had they been more clinical, they could have been clear by half-time, which is quite scary.
It could have been like 3-0 at half-time if they had put away their chances, so that's a scary sight to see. But I think that JT needs to go into the game against Wednesday and think about the players that should start and the players who are doing well in training and stuff. Because I think Solanke, I don't think we start him again on Wednesday. I think we start Joshua King, just to see if he really does care about this club. Because if he do, he'll want to start. Because I think any football player wants to start a game, and if he wants to get a move somewhere in January, he needs to impress the team to try and get a move away. So I think he wants to start games, and I think him and Sam Sturridge with a good hold-up play where Josh King can run onto it. He can put free past the team on Wednesday.
Someone on chat asked you to analyse Adam Smith's performance, Vin. What did you think of him today?
I think he has hit his peak now at Bournemouth, if I'm totally honest. And I feel he's been a great servant for the club. But I think this could be his last season before we might need to start thinking about him maybe going away, because he's 30 or something now. So he's kind of gone past his peak, and he was a great servant for us to get to the Premier League and keep us there. But, maybe Vickers could we could sell Smith in the summer, and then Vickers could come straight in and be our new right back.
Now, I'm just looking at the league table at the moment, and we're still in third, so we haven't sort of lost anything from this weekend. So I'm going to put it on screen now so you can see where we are. So, it was fortunate that Bristol City and Reading, as Nick Jenkins just said on chat, they also drew as well. So we're in third, but obviously there are teams below us that have managed to catch up. Notably Watford, who seems to be like our ugly sister. We're always alongside them, and it wouldn't be surprising if us and them were in the same position at the end of the season, vying for promotion or playoffs or whatever. But that's the current league table at the moment. Now, just wanted to touch on the international break. Kirk, do you think Bournemouth are a team that could possibly get? Well, how do I put it? Could we possibly be affected more after these international breaks compared to any other team, given them the amount of players that we seem to have going out on international duty? I swear it must be more than any other club, because if you just look through the spine of the team, and also players even like Sam Sturridge is doing England under-21 stuff, we've had a number of players to come back and probably a bit leggy, a bit tired. Could this be a thing this season, whereby after every international break we're doing performances like that?
I mean, it could be, I suppose. I mean, I was surprised to see Lerma in the team, although he was in my lineup before the game, because Lerma, notoriously doesn't normally start after an international break. But these are top professionals now. They've got everyone that they need around them, from having the right things to eat, to having the right sessions in the gym, to the training ground. So, these players have got it made now, really. So, we are human at the end of the day. But it probably is a fair comment. But still, I don't think that we did look tired. I know we did look leggy at the end. I mean, I thought Smith looked leggy at the end. And he wasn't even on international duty. But I think today really was the problem, that we just didn't get the formation right, and we didn't play the right way. And then we got frustrated. And that was it really. I think once we changed it up after 60 minutes, we looked better, but we just didn't capitalise on it. And we didn't really create anything clear cut.
We've not lost anything, but we failed to gain, as what Daniel Lee has just said there. And it's those are the kind of, I mean, look, even in the Championship season where we got promoted, in back in 2014-15, we had matches like this. But when you look at the quality of the side that we've got, like in those days, I think the quality was more was more even. Maybe we had a more cohesive and gelled squad then. I don't know, and we weren't sort of learning a new system. Whereby now it's still early days, but I still felt as though I went for a 3-0 in my prediction. I honestly thought that we should have been smashing them, but not to be, Kirk.
Yeah, I mean, I went for 2-0. It's almost like the Coventry result sort of caused us an issue today, because when we looked at Blackburn, we were like, look, let's just win games. Let's win 3-2. Let's play this 3-4-3. And then obviously we went to Borough, and then we've gone to Coventry and played a different way of football, kept the ball better, played more possession play football, beat them. And then that sort of caused a bit of an issue where they thought, we'll play the same way. But as I said, it just wasn't the right environment and the right team to play the same way. And I felt we almost had to go back to the opening day and play that way. We've got away with one today. At Middlesbrough, we'd say we probably lost out on 2 points. But I think today we actually gained a point because we got away with it and they had the better chances. Cardiff is going to be a different game again. And actually, funny enough, I think today's tactics and the way we've set up is better suited to go and play away at Cardiff. And I would play 3 in the middle. And this is what I'm saying, at home, playing against QPR, let's play our more flair players and miss out the midfield and just have that quick game. Where actually, I think against Cardiff, we can actually put 3 in the middle and have Dan Gosling driving on like he did at Coventry. So, just play the opposition, not the team that won the last result.
Brilliant. Kirk, I understand you got to shoot off today, but thank you very much for coming on. Really appreciate it, mate.
Thanks for having me. I'll see you soon.
Yeah, good man. That's Kirk Tovey there, AFC Bournemouth version of Gary Neville. Now, Jeremy is standing by over in the States, but Chris Hubble is a person that is very active and enthusiastic on Twitter, and we're going to bring him in now. Chris Hubble, how are you, fella? How are you doing?
Hello.
How you
Not
doing,
bad,
right?
thanks. Yeah.
Chris, what I might need you to do is...
Yeah, I'm good, thanks. How are you?
If you can turn the TV off in the background, because we can just hear that. So if you're able to turn the TV off, there's a bit of audio in the background there. So if you're able to do that, that'd be great. And then we'll bring him back in very shortly. In the meantime, Jeremy's over in the States. How are you, sir?
I'm doing well, Sam. How are you, my friend?
Very good. Very good. How are you feeling after that performance?
A little disappointed. I think we've got a case here of a team that was relegated from the Premier League. I think they know we have more talent than just about anyone that shows up on the pitch game in and game out. And unfortunately, knowing that, I think at times, we feel like we could just show up and win. And it's not the case. And I think it was proven today. We looked disinterested, lethargic. I know they care, but we did not at all come close to the same level that QPR was playing at. And we were very lucky to get a point. I think I agree with Kirk. This was a win to get a point. We deserved to lose the game. I'll say that.
Do you think any players had a poor game today?
I think Rico had some moments. There were a few times giveaway. I think they all had a poor game. Let me say it that way. I will say this. This is the favorite punching bag is Dom Solanke. And I like the guy. My age, he's a kid to me. I just don't understand why this guy keeps getting starts and continues to play week in and week out, game in and game out. It is amazing how clumsy he is on the ball. His first touch is terrible. When he does get the ball and manage to start to create something, he looks like he's panicking all at the same time. And I know he's trying. I know he cares. But what in the world does he have on the coaches? What's going on that he keeps getting playing time? I know in football, I made an analogy here in American football. It's like a wide receiver that has started every game, has 20 drops on the year and no catches or touchdowns. Yet he keeps starting. And I don't understand that. So I would say he probably had the worst game in my opinion.
I mean, let's face it. We'll bring in Morgan to ask him his opinion on that shortly. But, let's face it. Even a Josh King that hadn't trained on Friday would probably be a technically better player and probably perform better than Solanke. Do you think it was more about teaching Josh a lesson maybe? Or just maybe not disheartening Dom Solanke by playing, or Solanke as you call him. I love the American. No.
Should I have said Dom Solanke? Is that how you say it? or when you, what is it when you chant? It's Dom Solanke. Dom. See, I can't do it like you guys.
The way you say it, so I think I'm going to adopt that. But
yeah,
do you think, for a player that is supposed to be our future, it would be disheartening to drop the guy in favour of a guy that doesn't want to be here anymore? Do you think that's maybe part of JT's thinking?
Maybe. However, the team is greater than the whole is greater than the sum of its parts, right? And so I think you have to be careful. If I'm a player on the team and I'm seeing this guy who is not performing, he just is not. Yet he continues to get start after start after start after start. Sooner or later, it's going to hurt the team, in my opinion, regardless of his attitude on the pitch and in training. I think we've got to figure out a way, because if we're putting all the eggs in his basket, I don't think we can sustain being the top 3 or 4 in the league to the end of the year. I just don't see that. We need better quality up top. Absolutely.
And Bournemouth have always been a team that is greater than the sum of its parts historically. Now we're seeing a team that, well, today's performance at least was, lesser than the sum of its parts. And you've got players that are, technically good enough, Morgan, but they just didn't gel today, did they? Now, Josh King, Dom Solanke, you wanted to say something there, Morgan.
Yeah, I just wanted to pick up on what Jeremy was saying. Great pronunciation of Dom Solanke, by the way. Not like my Sam Surridge, where I muck it up completely. We can laugh about that later. But no, in terms of, I think that Kinney needs to earn his place back in the team, but then he only played 65 minutes on Wednesday night. Now, I look at that, and I'm not very good with geography, but the fact that Jefferson Lerma played his whole, I think he played the whole game for Colombia, which is a much further journey than Norway, kind of surprised me that he wasn't even considered, Josh Kim wasn't even considered for the sub bench today, which I don't know why. You go from the pre-season where he didn't report to training, he got extended international clearance to stay with his country, then he had a migraine out of nowhere, and it just kind of feels a bit excuse after excuse for Josh Kin at the moment. I'm hoping on Wednesday night he will get the nod again over Solanke. I completely agree with what you just said for the last couple of minutes. But I just don't kind of understand the thinking. But I would rather have had Surridge and maybe tried Jaden Anthony today. And I know it's a league game against QPR, but there was do you remember in the second half, I think the commentator, Solanke got the ball given to him, a really good pass, and then he drove through the middle and then cut back in again, and it just felt like his confidence is lacking. Now I know he's trying, and I can't, he's obviously trying to do the best for the club, but it just seems he's just lacking the confidence. And I don't know, without seeming to be really horrible, I don't know how many more opportunities that we can continue to give him. I think he's kind of had his game time for AFC Bournemouth. In terms of, I think they've given him so many opportunities, and to be honest with you, if he's not delivering, then we're gonna have to try something else, because we're trying to get back to the Prem at the first time of asking.
Yeah, I mean, had he not scored at Middlesbrough, we'd have lost that game. What did he do wrong today? Because there's a few people on chat who are saying, look, more Solanke bashing I see, says Keith Thomas. A few other people saying things like Solanke is good if he's got the right partner. That's why he and Dan Juma work really well together. Do you think it could be that he's actually doing all right, but it's more the people around him? Or do you think it actually is him?
Thanks. That's really gonna make my brain hurt to try and answer that. But no, I think you can't blame anyone else. You know, if I'm on a pitch and I'm having a bad game, that's down to me. You can't blame your teammates. Although you need the service, you know, into people. The amount of time we didn't. The only thing I could be nice on Solanke if I'm trying to find anything, and that's only just about it. The amount of balls the commentators touch. We weren't putting the ball in, we weren't crossing very often. You know, a big guy like Solanke trying to head them in from a few yards out, but that wasn't happening either. So maybe that you could say, but Surridge and Brooksy, I know Brooksy come back from Wales with a little knock. Hopefully he should be fit for Wednesday. But they linked up really, really well together against Man City away in the cup. And there was a league game that they did quite well together. Well, so maybe that's a factor. If they can, if Brooks is back in for the occasion for Wednesday night, maybe that could be a different. The good thing that I have to say is by keeping Kinney, we now got 4 options. You know, you've got Kinney, Armour, David Brooks, Junior Stanislas to play with either Surridge or Solanke as well. So there's plenty of opportunities for all these lads. But I'm not being rude, but I think Solanke needs to go back to the training pitch and work a bit harder on finishing. Because you don't win games without scoring goals. And we could have done with one today. And from a centre forward, Solanke never gives me the confidence like he's ever going to score. It sounds really negative, but thanks for having me on.
Yeah, thank you very much, mate. Really appreciate it. And I'll just also give a closing word to Vin as well before we're going to bring in Dan and Louis very shortly. Chris Hubble, if you're in the background, make sure your TV is off in the background. So just make sure that's muted and we'll be happy to bring you in. So if all is good, you just give me a thumbs up and we'll make sure you are coming in very soon. So Vin, rate the team out of 10 today then.
I would rate them a 5 because, you know, it was I don't know if that's a little bit too nice. You know, I could say a 3 because it was a terrible performance for that first 45 minutes. I thought we kind of got back into the game in when it hit the 60th minute, but for first half of the game, it was just complete and utter diabolical passing, attacking wise, defensively wise. We were just terrible. And, you know, I'm going to change my mind. I'm going to go for 3. It was really bad today.
3 out of 10. Vin, appreciate you coming on. Hopefully speak to you after the match against Cardiff on Wednesday.
Yeah, hopefully it's a better game. All right. Bye, Sam.
Fingers crossed. Cheers, Vin. Thank you very much. Right, next we're going to bring in Dan here, a.k.a. Jeron, YouTube extraordinaire. Mate, how many subscribers have you got on your channel?
Oh, I think we're on 65,000 at the moment, around there.
Mate, how the hell do I do that? What do I need to be doing?
I love the podcast. I tune in quite regularly.
So, you know what? I've been watching a few of your videos actually, and I absolutely think they're great. And I felt your pain on the relegation.
Oh God,
you did, mate. I mean, it was horrible.
It was also because the only thing I wanted was Eddie Howe to stay. I was like, I can somewhat handle relegation if Eddie stays, but it's just downhill from there, wasn't it? Really. But
so, what do you think? What do you think of today?
So I missed the first 10 minutes, but it's from what I saw, it was like a nothing game, especially in the first half. Poor. However, Solanke, I had when he took down that ball, I had visions of Messi in the World Cup. I thought he was going to bring it down, smash it top bins. But no, I think that there's been a lot of debate about Solanke on here, and I think he gets a lot of undeserved hate. I think admittedly, last season wasn't good. He had a really poor season. As we saw in the Leicester game, picked up some form. He's clearly a confidence player. But as you said, Middlesbrough, he gets the goal that helps us get the draw. He had 2 shots today that, you know, he had 2 good chances, and it's not just everyone seems to go, oh, he didn't score a goal, it's all Dom Solanke's fault. He's improved his passing a lot. His distribution of the ball is a lot better, I think. Yes, he's not brilliant. He's got to improve, but I think he gets a lot of undeserved hate. And obviously in the second half, Dan Juma coming on, he really changed the game for that period of time that he came on. The game switched, and then it sort of went, obviously a lot of offsides, which were incredibly annoying. But we probably deserve to lose that game, I reckon.
Do you? Yeah, we probably did. Do you think that the referee played its part in the fact that it just wasn't an enjoyable watch? Because against Coventry, I think that the ref let a lot of things go. He played the advantage a lot, and it was a quite enjoyable game. Whereas the whistle seemed to go so frequently, and there was so much stop-start to it that we just couldn't get into our flow whatsoever, could we?
No, it was a really stop-start game. It wasn't a nice game to watch, if you're a neutral watching it, which I'm sure there weren't many. But it was a stop-start game. Couldn't really get into any flow. I did think though that obviously Begovic did have a very good game. I was very impressed with Begovic. Kept us in the game really. Rico, I thought, had a half decent game. He made a couple of mistakes, but I think he was. He made a couple of really important blocks. Steve Kirk diving head at the end, good commitment. He always seems to have a decent game. Steve Kirk, Mepham, all right, but Smith and Stacey didn't really seem at it today as they did at Coventry.
Right, I'm going to bring in Louis as well, and just as I bring in Louis, do make sure you visit Dan's channel. There it is.
Appreciate it.
YouTube.com/Giro on FIFA. Nearly 67,000 subscribers. Dreamland. Wow. Superb videos as well. We'll talk more about that actually in a second. Before we ask Louis, thoughts, mate? 0-0. Not the game we wanted, but we're still third.
Yeah, we are still third at least. But going into that, I'd have thought we should be winning it. But after seeing the performance, I'm surprised that we took a point. Very poor first half. Nothing. Didn't really have too many chances, and then when Danjuma came on, then it was really a stark change, I thought, but still just no finishing, good finishing really.
Do you find it frustrating in hindsight when you see Danjuma come on and there was that spark for around 10 minutes and it sort of died off a little bit, but it's frustrating when you just think, why couldn't he play from the start? Because he'd have been decent, but we can always say these things, I suppose, can't we?
Yeah, exactly. And I think we're really, really seeing how we're struggling without having the crowd. I think that having that 12th man there would have really made the difference in giving us that attack, giving us the desire to get the points.
So what do you think we need to do different against Cardiff? A different formation, a different personnel, Josh King start? What do you think?
Yeah, I think we could see, I could see Dom being dropped. He didn't have the best game. I wouldn't be so harsh as some would, but I think King. We know King's staying now. Let's give him a start. See what he's made of. If he cares for the club, and we'll put in a shift. And if he doesn't, then he can just be dropped. And maybe a Fraser situation, but hopefully not.
Brilliant. We're going to rotate it around a little bit. Jeremy, I'll just say goodbye to you. But where do you want to see improvement on Wednesday?
Well, I don't want people to. I don't want people to think I'm hating on Dom Solanke. I don't hate anyone. Yeah. However, if his job is to score goals, he needs to score goals. Yeah. And I compare him to some of our previous strikers over the years. And I know he's no Jermaine Defoe, but I remember a game against Crystal Palace a few years away where we were struggling to stay in the game. It was 2-1 Crystal Palace, and there was a long ball over the top, and Defoe made a ridiculous play on the ball, took with a volley and scored the tying goal. And so I don't see that for you, Sam, Dom Solanke. So anyway, I think we just need a little more energy, play with a little more passion. And I think it's the international break that was a big thing for the team. But I just want to see the guys play like I've seen them play before, with some energy and moving up the pitch. And, this ticky-tack stuff at the back end, and they're so uncertain with the ball right now. And QPR did great. They pressed them. And so tip of the cap to QPR. So, there's always another game, though. So, anyway.
There's always another game. And you know what? It's good to iron out these issues very early doors. So, and we're third in the league. So, it's not too bad. Yeah. Jeremy, appreciate it, mate.
Thanks, Sam. Good to see you. Thanks, guys.
You too. Enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you very much. And Louis as well. Thank you very much for coming on, buddy.
Yeah.
And so Jiron, just want to, let's just do a quick advert. What can people see if they go on your YouTube channel, buddy?
Well, they see a bit of Bournemouth stuff. I've sort of diverted a bit from FIFA, as you can see in the name that was Jiron FIFA. Done a little bit more football stuff. Quite interested in sort of creating football content that's, you know, reactions. Obviously, I'd love to do match day vlogs when we're able to go back to the stadium. Some sort of interesting football situations, scenarios, games. Sort of want to cover that in sort of maybe sort of like a almost like documentary style thing. I think that's what I'm kind of interested in at the moment. But yeah,
where did the name Giron come from?
It used to be. I don't know if it is now. It is my last name translated into French. I was doing my French homework 6 years ago. I was like, I wonder what this is. But I don't think it means that now. I think it means oath. So
yeah, maybe you don't want that. Dan, appreciate you coming on, mate. Thank you very much.
No worries.
Cheers, buddy.
Sure,
no worries. Thank you very much. Make sure you visit his channel. Once again, the link is youtube.com/GeronFIFA. We'll pop it in the description afterwards as well, by the way. So we're going to do about another 5 minutes because it's been one of those matches where there's not a lot to talk about. But we will talk to Keith Thomas, and Ellis is standing by. Keith Thomas is audio only this week, so fingers crossed it works okay. Can you hear us, Keith?
I certainly can. It's my browser's out of date, so I've got to get that updated and I'll get my camera back. So
no worries at all. So go on then, mate. Talk to me about that.
It's as simple as that. Really, I don't think we got our foot in on the in the midfield. We didn't really control that at all, and it's a Warburton side, so they're going to press us high, and they did quite well. But they huffed and puffed. They only got 2 shots on target, so this is no Blythe Spartans. I've just put that up on Twitter. There's we seem as a fan base to go from thinking we're the greatest team in the world 1 minute, and then we're terrible. We've got to take it one step at a time. We are it's a new formation. It's a new start for us, and we're going to have these ropey old games. I don't know any team that doesn't have any ropey games. I've watched enough football to realise that. So, you know, it is what it is. Actually, I thought Solanke was one of our better players, but clearly there is a section of the fan base that disagrees. He does need support on goal scoring. I think we're repeating ourselves over and over again.
Yeah, you're right.
In saying that he's not going to get us 20 goals a season. I looked at Josh King's stats. 6. He got last season 6 and 3 assists. He's only done in the 5 years. He's only got the most 16 for us. Okay, it's in the Premiership, but his assist record is not exactly an outstanding. Sam Surridge, he's a youngster. Give him a chance. Let him settle in. And Denjuma's only, you know, he missed out last season, so he's got to settle in. Where I see, you know, today I think we should have gone 3-4-3. Okay, you concede in the midfield, but we could have put pressure on their back, and we seemed to switched it up when Denjuma came on. It gave us a little bit of energy, but he faded. But let's not get overly excited when we do go out and get big wins. You know, the Coventry result was great, but let's not think we're the most awful team in the world when we get a draw. And let's have a bit of perspective. August, we thought there was a whole load of people just walking out the door, and we're going to be stripped of a team. We're going to have no one. And it turns out the transfer window was quite satisfactory for us. You know, we've got money. Listening to what's on the news today about lower league clubs, including championship clubs, we're lucky to be in that position. So let's take that as a positive. And let's just, you know, while we're not in the ground, people are going to be watching us on social media. And when you get on the backs of players and think they shouldn't be playing for the side and what have you, that isn't going to help anyone at all. We can be critical, and it wasn't a great performance today, but let's give people a break for a change and actually let them settle in. It's a new season. We're unbeaten. We're third. You can't go further than that. So, you know, and I thought Rico actually had a really good game today. Some last minute tackles, and Begovic was really good as well. And so let's just keep our perspective for a moment. You know, that's what I think. But it's a game of opinions and people are entitled to their views. Okay, we dropped Solanke, but where's our creativity at top? That's something else we have to look at. Is that the right combination? Solanke, Surridge? Would it be Solanke, Denjuma, Surridge? Who knows? We've got to tweak these things. So that's the way I look at it. But I don't get really excited when we go out and smash teams, and I'm not going to get really suicidally depressed if we get a draw today. We could just take it in our stride.
Yeah, never too high, never too low. I think that was the Eddie Howe philosophy there. Right, we're going to bring in Ellis and Chris Hubble in a second. Before we view some of your views on Twitter to see what you've been saying. Keith Brewer is saying that the man of the match has got to be Rico. Elsewhere, we've got Tom Jordan saying nothing like a good bit of overreaction after another game unbeaten. Oh, and also sign a striker now is tough when the window is closed, fella. That's Tom replying to Darren Green there. Now, later on, Nick Case said, this was 1 minute ago, we didn't play well today, too many off colour, and it felt it was clear that the system wasn't working from the start. JT probably should have changed it tactically, but perhaps he thought today he'd try different personnel changes to see what impact it had. Learning curve. Yeah, fair play. Rob saying, after watching that, King would be beyond thick not to put 110% in. Even by January, he could easily get 15 goals. QPR boss Mark Warburton said Bournemouth will be pleased with a point because we were good today. To be fair, I don't know if I'm pleased with it, but probably the right result, I've got to say today. Now, JT on Solent has said the international break was one factor in their lacklustre performance against Queen's Park Rangers, saying we certainly weren't at our best today, which I think we all agree with as well. Sam Summers, a couple of things. One, is the Championship different to other leagues where you don't need to win games? Two, I'm pretty sure that the rules of the transfer window still apply to us and we won't be signing anyone now. That's in reply to Darren Green, who's getting a little bit hysterical. This is his tweet. Drawing at home to QPR is not to be celebrated. All those saying, calm down, we haven't lost yet, do not appreciate the need to win games in the Championship. Today was 2 points clearly dropped by a striker now. Well, yeah, like you say, cannot do that anymore. And it'd be interesting to compare our league position this time round with the first time round in the Championship, because I think you'll find it's probably not all that different. Interesting to see some tweets there. Right, we're going to bring in Ellis now, who's been standing by. Ellis,
hello.
How are you, mate?
I'm all right.
How do you feel after that?
Well, it wasn't our best performance. I think we could have done better in the game. I had a full thing. I forgot what I was going to say.
Yeah, no worries at all. I mean, it's I think a lot of us think that we should and could have done better today. Where do you think it went wrong for us?
Pardon?
Where do you think it went wrong for us today?
Playing the positions, the formation. Sorry.
Yeah.
I reckon we should have played a 4-3-3, something like that.
What do you think of Sam Surridge? I think he did all right against Coventry. I think he looked a bit lost today. But I'm just trying to kind of work out what are our best attacking options. And, I think he's probably going to be a person that is going to be dropped on Wednesday, perhaps. Do you think that?
Yeah, well, he's a good player. He's a quality star player. And with, he's done good against our recent games, but today he just didn't turn up. He didn't bring his boots, as they would say, shooting boots.
Yeah, Chris Hubble we're going to bring in as well now. Hopefully he's got his issues in the background sorted with his TV. Chris, it looks like all is good. Chris, performance out of 10 today for AFC Bournemouth. What do you think?
Yep. 4.
Who's your best player?
Because that bad today.
Who's your best player today?
Okay, had a good game first. Yeah. Dom has to be Dom Solanke. He's the best there, and Solanke was a good player. Didn't quite get the ball. Didn't quite have a shot.
Wow. I mean,
Rico had
you
a
know,
bad game first half.
there's some people that might be disagreeing with you, Chris, but that's what football debate is all about. And we're playing Cardiff on Wednesday.
Oh, thanks.
A lot of changes may be made in the first hour. We don't know. What's your prediction for the scoreline, Chris, on Wednesday against Cardiff?
I'm gonna go for a 0.1.
Well, I think your audio there is slightly
1-1
cut
draw,
up by the 1-1 draw. We just got that, and Chris, unfortunately, your audio is just cutting up slightly there. But nice to have you on, and Ellis also nice to have you on as well. Appreciate you coming on. Many thanks, mate. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, buddy. Thank you very much. And Keith, final words to you this week. It's not all doom and gloom, is it, at this early stage?
No, you would. No, we're in a good place at the moment. Let's take one game at a time. We've got a little mini tournament now until the next international break, and we've got to rotate players. So I know people were surprised that Danjuma wasn't playing today, but we've got to rotate these guys. Everyone will get a chance anyway to prove themselves and otherwise. With regards to the King situation, it's up to the fella. It's his career. He's got to put himself out there on the market if he wants to go. If he wants to go and join the under 21s, be my pleasure. But that it's really up to him. But to be honest, I don't see us as having that single 20 goal a season guy anyway. In the way we're set up, I think it's all more about contributions across the pitch. I think you're already seeing that pattern anyway, and we as fans might need to see, because we're playing a new system. I don't think we've ever played this way before. That the over reliance on one guy getting 20 goals a season, which has always been the traditional Bournemouth way. Hayter, Wilson, Grabs, all those guys since Supermac was here. This might be a different thing where we might have to rely on more contributions from the midfield. Stacey's getting in positions where he's looking like he wants to score goals as well. And if we could get 4 or 5 players contributing 10 to 15 goals, then it's really happy days. But to put pressure on 1 or 2 guys, particularly as they're young, particularly as they're some of them have come back from a rotten season last season, might be something, maybe we were asking too much. And maybe, as I say, it's a group game where everyone defends, everyone's a midfielder, everyone's an attacker. And that's I think, what JT's trying to engender with the coaching staff. So, we'll see at the end of the season. I'm not panicking. We're third. It's all... it's more or less where I expected us to be, but let's see what happens. I'm not putting pressure on if we go up or not. I just want to see good football and do our best, and then we'll see where we are at the end of the season. And don't forget the January window's coming round again. So if we do need reinforcements, we've got the cash there to dip in. So, but get the right player in, not just go out and panic to just get any name or anyone in. We've got to get that right.
And I got a good comment that we'll put on screen from a QPR fan watching. Leo, not going to lie, you lot was shit today. Quick point, it's were, not was, Leo. Come on, mate. Educate yourself. But I wouldn't say we were shit, but I think we were poor. And Queen's Park Rangers did stunt, I think, a lot of our play today. And you know what? They were a good side. They're certainly top 10, but they're not a team that's going to be pushing for the playoffs. I don't think so. We will see as it develops. Keith, thank you very much for coming on the podcast again today.
Just a quick one, Sam. Ethan, young Ethan, who is the future manager of the club, has made a really good point. Is Solanke the new Fletcher?
Oh, is he? There he is. Yeah, well, Steve Fletcher didn't have the best of starts with AFC Bournemouth, and I remember being on that South End terrace where he got a lot of pelters from the South End.
He was hated, wasn't he? He was he was the worst player ever to wear the shirt. Josh King was the worst player to ever wear the shirt. Rico was the worst player to ever wear the shirt. We do have a tendency to write off players. And if I remember correctly, Steve Fletcher wasn't the most prolific goal, but my God, he gets a stand named after him for what he done.
Yeah, you know what? Fletch, for his longevity, for his assists, for his general whole lot play, and just the embodiment of the passion of the club and, you know, that underdog spirit. He as a player just represented the club, and you know, the fact that we could come back from adversity, and that was, you know, that was him. He had a poor start with AFC Bournemouth. You can watch the video, the extended interview. I think we were on with him for 2 hours, and he gets quite emotional about the start of his AFC Bournemouth career. And there was a time where he was going to drive back home to Hartlepool, and then he stuck with it, and look how it all changed for him. And you know what? He wouldn't go anywhere else now. He absolutely loves Bournemouth.
Exactly, Sam. And it's just that, and it's the same with Billing and all these players that have been maligned at the moment. Who knows? We actually might need these. We need these guys to be on side, and it's easy to get on the back and on these young guys' backs. But what I think we need to get behind them and actually give us some support to them and give them a morale boost, because we're not in the ground. They're going to be watching the social media. But Steve Fletcher, as I say, not the most renowned goal scorer we've ever had, but by God, the partnerships he formed with Hates, with people like Pittman,
Jermaine Defoe as well, yeah.
Jermaine Defoe today still says Steve Fletcher helped his game. And I was watching Denjuma, and who's the guy he loves and he wants to work with? It's Solanke. Now, I trust Denjuma more than I trust some of our fan base. What Solanke needs is a regular partner, and then we can get that old partnership up. But good one, Ethan, because that's a really good point. And I think we need to give these players time. This season, we've got a new system, a new manager, a new way of playing. We're not like last season where we were utterly hopeless on occasion. And I'm proud to wear the red and black, and I think we're doing all right. It's not super special, but we'll get better at it, I hope. And well done, Ethan. I think you've shown more wisdom in your comment than a lot of other guys that could take a long look at themselves and think it's all easy, like Mr. Green in the chat.
It's an interesting stat that you need to win about 60% of the games to win the championship, and we're at that already. So you know what, this draw, it doesn't really matter. Keith, thank you very much for coming on the podcast. Really appreciate it, buddy.
All right then, buddy, and I will speak to you again soon, mate.
Yeah, will do. Thank you very much. That was Keith Thomas there. And now, if you're a new subscriber to the channel, thank you. Firstly, just want to say give us a thumbs up. We'd really appreciate that because it helps with whatever YouTube does with the videos. Also, if you haven't checked this out already, there was something that we've put online on Friday night, a round of golf with Harry Redknapp and also Tony Funnell. He was joined by Stuart and also Simon Kay after our Forest Home fundraiser. There they are, and you can see a video on our channel if you scroll back to see Harry's tee shots, a lot of funny stories besides. Make sure you check that out. Now, tomorrow, 8 o'clock, we're doing a podcast. Usually it's all recorded and nicely polished. Tomorrow we're recording it live. Not sure how that's going to go. But with me is Jeff Hayward, 8 o'clock. Jeff Hayward, Sean Barker down in New Zealand, the original founder of the podcast back in 2016, and also a podcast regular by the way of Neil Dawson, who's going to be with us too. So if you want to join us at 8, it's going to be live. If you just want to hear the audio version, we're going to take that and pop it onto your app for episode 100 of Back of the Net. Really proud of the way things have developed for us. I've absolutely got to say, if you want to support us, you can do so down there by going to afcbpodcast.com/coffee. I must say, it's a little bit weird, just like sat watching the game, having a beer, and then all of a sudden you're getting named for doing videos on like Solent and Sky Sports and stuff. It's a little bit weird. We'll never be a big YouTube channel or podcast, but we're just trying to represent the views of the fans as much as possible. And if you're a fan and you want to be involved, then Free For All is the best possible chance to get on. And if you've got any ideas, send us an email, sam@afcbpodcast.com, because I'd love to hear from you. Feel free to get involved. Really appreciate it. Right. In terms of the content for the matches, they are coming thick and fast, right? And I think that doing previews is going to be nigh on impossible, given that people are going to pick up knocks, teams are going to be rotated. We're going to be picking chosen 11s that are probably going to be nowhere near what's going to happen. So preview material, probably we're not going to be doing much of that, I've got to say. However, we'll be doing the free-for-alls, and of course the usual videos will be coming out. So I do encourage you to subscribe to keep abreast of everything that happens with regards to AFC Bournemouth over the next few weeks. And it's going to be a number of games which could determine our fate this season. If we if we get 6 wins in a row, happy days, top of the league, points clear. You never know. Anyway, really appreciate you joining us today. Thank you very much. You've been watching Back of the Net. We'll see you soon.